WCNC Charlotte. This is Flashpoint, where power and politics collide and the tough questions get asked and answered.
Thanks for joining us here on Flashpoint. I'm Ben Thompson. On Monday, hundreds of thousands of North Carolina students head back to school. It's the third year of the pandemic, but this year things look different. No masks, little to no contact tracing. Exposed students or staff no longer advised to quarantine. But students may be crowded in classrooms or have to wait longer for buses as districts across our area are seeing shortages across all areas. Some employees walking away from the job they love due to low pay yet higher expectations. Later on, we'll speak to a CMS school board member. Joining us now, CMS teacher Justin Parmenter. He teaches 7th grade English and language arts. Justin, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, first up, are you ready for this new school year?
Well, yeah, I think we're ready as we'll ever be. And Monday morning is going to be here soon. The buses are going to roll, and so it's going to be showtime.
That's right. I want to show a tweet of yours from about a week ago. It went viral, liked by thousands of people. And you said the teacher shortage is a myth. What we have is a shortage of people who are willing to be overworked, underpaid, and disrespected, all while doing the most important job in the world. Clearly, it resonated with a lot of people. This week, we learned CMS teachers will see an average of about a 4.2% pay raise. Your reaction to that?
Well, you know, I personally really appreciate our county and our district doing what they can to try to make a difference in teachers' lives. You know, the economy is really hitting all of us hard right now, and that includes classroom teachers and all school professionals. So I do appreciate those efforts. You know, unfortunately, I think this year, once again, it's not going to be enough for us to keep a lot of people who are on the fence about whether or not this is the right career for them.
Because of inflation and a variety of other factors as well.
That's right. And because, you know, the state, which provides the lion's share of education funding in North Carolina, has not been doing nearly enough to try to keep teachers in classrooms.
Let's talk about teacher vacancies, because you addressed it somewhat in that tweet. CMS, I think, is predicting somewhere between 300 and 400 openings as we start the new school year. Earlier last week, it was like at 360. What does that mean for teachers like you?
Well, for teachers like me, that means additional responsibilities of having to cover classes where, you know, there isn't a teacher that's been hired yet, and we can't get enough substitutes to come in and fill those roles temporarily. So that's what it means for me as a teacher. As a parent, it also means that I've got kids who are not going to have, you know, a licensed, highly qualified teacher in front of them at times. And I think that's something that we should all be concerned about, not just teachers.
I was about to say, I know you're a parent. What would you say to the parents out there about what this teacher shortage means for their students?
Well, I think, you know, we need parents to be understanding that public schools are doing the best that we can. We unfortunately, and this is not a new story, you know, we just don't have the resources that we need. And at a time when our economy is in, you know, not the best shape, we've got people who are seeing, you know, greener grass on the other side of the fence and leaving. I mean, I've got a new neighbor across the hall from me because last year, the science teacher got a job as an engineer in Texas, making double the pay that she was making here in Charlotte. And so, you know, it's a difficult situation that we're all in. I don't know how long it's going to be before we can turn things around, but it's really getting hard.
Let's talk about COVID protocols. This is, I believe, the third year that we're going to be dealing with COVID in the classroom. Masks not required, vaccines not required. Is it basically back to normal for teachers like you, what we were pre-pandemic?
Well, I think in some ways we're acting like it's back to normal, but I mean, it's not going to be back to normal in terms of people getting COVID. You know, that we're still going to have students who are missing, you know, 2 weeks of instruction because they're out sick. And then after that, you know, following the protocols that are needed to re-enter the school. Same for teachers. I mean, we already don't have substitutes just to cover the vacancies that we have. But once teachers start getting sick, no, I don't think we can say that we're back to normal yet.
This past week, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson made news, as he has several times recently, about something that's evidently an upcoming book that he's writing. And he said that he'd work to keep science and history out of some elementary school classrooms. Your reaction to that?
Well, you know, I think Lieutenant Governor Robinson is he's got basically one trick, and that is trying to outrage people, trying to stir the flames and create moral outrage where there's really nothing. It's really unfortunate that the way that he's trying to motivate his voters and his base is by, again, attacking public schools. And I think the vast majority of North Carolinians want their children to learn history and science and social studies. And I feel that it's just, it's Mark Robinson in a very, very small vocal subset of our population that doesn't believe that's the right thing to do.
When I think about, I had some of the best teachers, Mr. Davis, Mr. Pickle, Miss Watterson, so many good teachers that help form who I am, in addition to great parents. But for some reason, it seems like teachers have really become politicized and found themselves in the middle of politics in recent years. Do you think that that's a fair description? Is it for good reason, or is it people capitalizing politically off of teachers?
I think it's the latter. I think it's that, public education becomes a political football in certain times. And I think that, a lot of that division that grew up, that kind of sprouted during the pandemic, when there were such strong disagreements over what was the right way to handle education during the pandemic. And then we saw, this fake outrage over CRT, and it's just been one thing after another. But the common thread that runs through all that is trying to stoke anger and fear and resentment over public education in order to motivate voters. And I think it's really unfortunate, for classroom teachers that just want to work with kids and make a difference in their lives, for us to have to deal with that kind of garbage is really unfortunate.
CMS finds itself, as it has several times in the last decade, looking for a superintendent. As a teacher on the ground level who's educating students on a daily basis, about to start a new school year, what would you like to see in a new superintendent?
Well, I think I would like to see a superintendent who believes in and supports teachers. And I think that we would also like to see stability in that role. So we want to get somebody in, as quickly as possible who's going to do a great job of supporting the employees that we have, creating conditions where our students can thrive, and also to stay in that role for more than a year or two.
All right, Justin Parmenter, one of the thousands of teachers out there getting ready to start a new school year. Justin, thanks to you and thanks to all the teachers out there. Good luck this school year.
Thank you so much.
All right, more Flashpoint after this.